Yeah, okay. We're good.
Good. Okay. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to session 15 of the Four Forces of Nature D&D game on behalf of Silent Storm 34. Basically, we're going to kick back into the session quite swiftly, basically with a quick summary of a battle at the dockside within Daggerford amongst the main group of our party, Claude, Rian, Logan, Tell, Bo, all at the dock area. Basically looking for investigating the howling boar and what's going on at the dock area. Tommy in particular had basically made an excursion around away from the Marcel homestead, including checking out a mini protest amongst the miners that went disastrously bad, but he didn't stick around to actually figure out what happened. Just decided, no. He made an impassioned plea to the crew, to the mining crew. Seemed to work for a while. There was a significant disturbance, caused a lot of destruction and chaos in the area. And Tommy said, "Nope, that'll do for me." At this point, he joins the port crew and he encounters other such characters such as Rusty at the dockside, who is also on an investigation in his own right. Which then led towards the showdown between the Ash Owen family of sailors from the Howling Boar themselves, which was a pretty impactful conflict, including Logan being pushed off a roof but being saved from significant fall damage from a well-timed feather fall spell at that point, which created basically a showdown or a standoff amongst our heroes and the pirate crew in the pack, which ultimately was decided by with the hands of the pirates, as well as Niall, the assassin, having a death grip on Rusty at that time. But both lives were spared, but Tommy has been taken away by the pirate crew, and our heroes have been left standing, bewildered, worried, not quite sure what to do with themselves next, as we ended the last session on that. Pick up at this time is basically the main crew of the pirates have dissipated from the area. They've locked up the guys were trying to investigate earlier on, and they're making their way back towards the ship. However, Tommy, with basically a bag over his head now, unable to see what's going on, very, very weak in state, made an impassioned plea to his party just to let him go, if it meant ultimately ensuring their safety at that time. We're going to come straight to you, and basically what you're going to hear as you go along with this black bag head, you've basically taken a couple more shots. You're quite weary. You're a little bit more aware of yourself than you were before, but more groggy, bit of pain coming out of the sort of the injured state that you were. Your feet are being dragged, and you're being held up basically underneath your elbows by at least two other large individuals of this crew. You can hear from the footprints behind you. There's probably two in front of you, two behind you, as well as the two that are holding you up. And you can hear the muffled yet distinctive voice of Captain Charles Zane out in front, basically giving orders.
Oh no.
No.
No, he froze again.
But seems to be working for the next 5 seconds. So we'll see.
Yeah, I was trying to think of any kind of backup plans. Maybe we can look into that another time too.
It's okay. Hey, it's not like me to have technical issues.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know why it's Discord is the only thing. Because you said your internet seems fine. It's just
yeah, no, it's totally fine. Everything else is fine. So okay, right. Anybody remember the last thing I said? Because I was talking for a wee while before.
Yeah. You were saying something about like Tommy was good to go. He could head back to the group. Something of those lines. No, you were saying I was being dragged. 2 people in front of me, 2 people behind me, and the captain was kind of somewhat speaking.
Yeah. So the captain's in. Basically, you can hear a little bit of a muffled voice, but because you're quite close to him, you can still hear that there's a tone of bragging about him. So even though the orders aren't as aggressive as you usually associate with him, you can hear him talking about the boss and what's going on here, and you can hear the people running past you from where you are, and you can hear certain small screams and shouts like, "Oh my god, he's dead!" And you're catching little bits and pieces as you go along. Not from the crew, just from people kind of running past, and there's slight panicked sound as things are happening. So, is there anything you want to do just while you were there? Do you want to try to pick up or hear or listen intently onto anything? Or
are my hands bound, or am I just being dragged?
You're being dragged by basically in the armpit, basically up under the armpit for both people.
But my hands aren't tied or anything, right?
No, they're either side of you like that.
And have my weapons been taken from me, or do I still have my weapons on me?
Yeah, you've basically imagine each one has one of your weapons.
Okay.
Your rapier and your pistol.
All right, then as I'm kind of being dragged, with the hood on my face, I kind of say, "How did you even survive?" Towards what I think the direction of the captain is.
Yeah. He goes, "Oh boy, you're awake. Gus, you sounds like you made a good decision with your friends. You really looked after them. That's the sort of loyalty that I would have expected. Remember, happened to change you, boy, but we could find a use for you yet." You can tell he's very much avoiding the question. He's not really talking to you. He's just more taunting as he goes along.
Since he didn't answer, Tommy as he's being dragged is trying very hard to like listen to his surroundings, just in case he has to, if he can get away out of this or find someone to come find him. He's very trying to pick up on anything unique. Like obviously you said people are kind of running by and yelling things, but if there's like a bell that chimes or if there's like anything like that, he's very much using his like listening right now and not talking.
Give me a perception check.
Yeah. 7.
One thing you really tell at the moment is basically before the hood was put on your head that you were walking in the opposite direction of the port from where you were, and the number of people and the commotion, for some reason it's tweaking a little bit of a connection for yourself, but maybe it's the grogginess that you're feeling at the moment. You're not quite picking up why you are having a recollection associated with this, but there's something familiar about what's going on. It might be the way your feet are dragging on the pathway, on the stones, or things that you're hearing around you. But you seem to have a recognition of at least this part of the town.
Okay. Yeah, Tommy's not talking. He's really at this time is just listening and is hanging as heavy as he can. He's kind of trying to conserve his energy because he knows he doesn't have the strength to get to fight out of this. His strength is not one of his key features, so he's very much just listening to try to get ideas of where he's going and what's happening.
Fantastic. While you're basically being dragged along at the moment, we'll get you another perception check in a second, basically as you kind of shake off a little bit of grogginess and take another stab at it later on. We're going to go back to the rest of the party here at the moment. The rest of the party, basically, you are sitting around and you have Rusty is in a bit of a weakened position. You're at the edge of the docks. You've started to see a lot of the sailors have started to basically give you dirty looks as they're walking away, and they're getting back towards that pathway on the port where they're going, and they are basically loading themselves back up onto the howling boar. And you can see that the howling boar is starting to move away from the shore. Right, there definitely is almost an unspoken understanding that you can pick up from the sailors that are happening. They're all boarding onto the ship quite hurriedly, and the ship itself is starting to pull away from the docks that you can see. You can basically see maybe some of them are trying to taunt you guys from the thing, and you can kind of just see silhouettes and hand gestures and things out there, but not too many. Most of them generally have a very focused, like, it's like, all hands to stations type urgency about them as the ship itself starts to pull away, and you can see that very distinctive boar emblem on the back of the ship as it pulls away from the docks.
Do we see which way they take Tommy?
So they've basically taken Tommy, because you can kind of see them because they've crossed the square that you were. So they're kind of going back the way that you guys had came. So that's the general direction you kind of see them coming off to.
Okay.
You know that's the general direction, but because there's a lot of people hurriedly kind of crossing your path and hustle and bustle and panic. So
Damn it.
I think that, yeah.
And there he goes.
No.
okay. So last thing you heard me say, I think, was just talking to the rest of the party and watching as the howling boar was going away, and then Bo was basically making an inquiry about, did we see where the captain and Tommy and then were being dragged away to, and basically amongst all the chaos of people running back and forth across your path, you lose them relatively quickly, but you at least know it was in the general direction of back where you came, across the far end of the port. So if we're looking at the picture, and these are our buildings here, it's going up into, if we're just assuming north, south, east, west, to the northeast here, back the way they came. Anything you want to do?
Before they leave range, are they within 90 feet of us to where I can cast Hunter's Mark on the captain?
Yeah, you might not get it on the captain, but you can get it on one of the guys at the back. Yeah.
Okay. Just to let me read this description, see if this does what I want it to do. You have advantage. Check target traps. So if I were to Hunter's Mark them, would I be able to track them outside of that 90-foot range, just to know where they end up going?
How does it read on the spell?
Choose a creature you see within range, mystically mark it as your quarry. Until the spell ends, deal extra damage. Have advantage on any wisdom, perception, or survival check you make to find it. If the target drops to 0 hit points before the spell ends, you can use a bonus action to mark a new creature.
Yeah, so you're basically doing that wisdom check, isn't it, to kind of sense where it is. So it's not a pinpoint GPS marker, like a wee tracking disc on them, but it, at least, depending on how good the roll is, it's giving you a sense of where it is in relation to you.
Okay. Be kind of like an extra sense. It'd be like, I think they went this way. Like I can heal up the hole or something. Okay.
Yeah. Depend on the role, because there's a lot of distraction around you. There's a lot of chaos going around you. You're a bit sort of frenzied in terms of in a bit of an emotional state. So it'll really have to be a good role in terms of you being almost going to bring yourself into a zen meditative state to clearly sense where it is. Okay. Do you at least have a feeling that it's still moving in the general direction of where you had come? They're basically still making their way across the courtyard. They're out of the courtyard area, so they're out past from what would be this large courtyard area at the moment. And you can see the boat. You can see the boat is pulling out from dock.
Who wants to look at Claude? Well, is going to look at Claude and tell him, say, yeah, I have a bad feeling that your family's into something. In cahoots with these pirates, bud.
In cahoots with them?
I mean,
I think somebody is.
Somebody is, but how? The way that he was talking about Big Boss, Nile coming back out of, out from your basement. I don't know who.
Yeah.
If it might be, I don't. Might
I
be hard to
definitely don't know
believe,
how Nile.
but I got a suspicion.
Rod, how does it make
Well,
you feel? You're basically one of your party mates is accusing your family of being involved in something nefarious.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I'm just confused. I'm not mad, but I am upset.
Well,
I think first things first, if we want to rescue Tommy, let's at least figure out where they're taking him. So, did I understand this correctly? The ship went one direction, and the captain and Tommy went a different direction. Like the ship took
Yeah,
off,
so-
they were still on land.
Imagine you look at the ship; it's pulling away from the dock, so it would be moving out to sea. So it'd be moving out towards the west here,
Yeah.
in that general direction. You guys are around about here, where this sort of large dock courtyard area is, with the storage facilities. So you're at the furthest one, and basically the sense that in terms of both the combination of where you saw them walking, even in amongst the crowd, and your hunter's mark check that we'll be doing every so often, gives you the indication that they are moving northeast.
Does anybody need to heal up?
Does Tobin have any reaction to Tommy being dragged away?
He is, yeah. Well, he is. You can imagine he's just sort of scared and more sticking close to you, right behind your leg. So,
Cool. Yeah, Rian's just gonna focus on consoling him and not really speaking with the group.
Logon and Rusty, you all right? I know Logon got cut pretty bad by now.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I think I would also like to cast Hunter's Mark just to double our odds with the checks. That was a good idea.
Yeah.
yeah. So basically, once again, there were two guys at the back, which we described. Tommy, obviously you guys don't know this yet, but there's two guys that were kind of lingering at the back, almost kind of acting as the sort of the support, covering that flank, especially in relation to whether this party of heroes are going to follow the captain and the crew. So because they were hanging back a little bit, Claude, let's say you were able to get one on the left and Logan get one on the right. So you basically each have a hunter's mark that is getting weaker from your position, and will require further checks later on in terms of you still being able to sense what that is later on. But you basically now have two sources of information that they are moving in that general direction, or at least these two individuals are moving in that general direction. Every so often, basically, you kind of had to catch a glimpse of them in amongst the crowd as it's kind of going back and forth across your face, and the hustle and the bustle and a little bit of panic, etc. And you can also see a lot of people running from that area before, from that northeast corner, and these are the ones that were kind of frantically running out and looking out over their shoulder. This caused a lot of disruption as well. Tommy, you can kind of feel this a little bit in terms of there's a sort of bump, and you can kind of hear people tripping over and falling, and having to scurry back up onto their feet and keep running past you as this is happening. So these guys are running towards the courtyard, and they're running past you at the moment. Not necessarily the same, but there's a large group of people and different individuals at different times.
My vote is that we start following, and even if we don't engage, we see where their sort of base of operations here is.
Yeah, I mean,
Especially before we lose Hunter's Mark.
I think we should definitely at least follow them, but maybe we should have a backup plan too, because I don't know. I mean, I know if they do lead us back to your house, it's kind of, I don't know, might be kind of like walking into their trap. But so yeah, maybe we should start following and think of a plan on the way.
Yeah, Claude's
Cool.
gonna start moving.
Tell when you're on the ground, basically, Rusty is basically trying to get your attention a little bit, because he's basically he was basically grabbed by the throat, so he's wheezing. He's on the ground. He's in a very, very weakened state at the moment. And he's basically trying to get your attention.
Okay, so I'll run to him and see what he needs.
So basically, as Rusty is on the ground, basically getting your attention, and in amongst the scuffle and the fight and what ultimately became the part where Niall overwhelmed him and was able to get him on the ground, you can see his gear is a bit tattered and he's basically lying on the ground. And as you're looking at him, he basically gives you a look and he's like, oh, I could really do with one of those belly rubs right now, buddy. You know? And as you notice that his shirt is now broken, you notice that he's got a tattoo on his stomach. Which you obviously hadn't seen before because he was basically wearing clothing the whole time. Mm-hmm. It's a roughly branded style tattoo that he has on his stomach. So, and you can just see him, he's catching his breath and he's very, very weak in state at the moment. So, what do you want to do?
Is he hurt? Can I heal him?
Oh yeah, he's definitely hurt. He basically, imagine he was basically being choked. Like lifted off the ground, choked, and he'd taken a bit of a beating to almost be like hanging limp from that hand that Niall had him in on that grip.
Okay.
He didn't use his security word.
Let me do cure wounds on him. Nat 20.
Good. Yep. Okay. And how many points of damage do you heal for?
11.
Damage. Okay.
Nice.
You can basically see him start to, catch his breath a little bit, and he's breathing a lot easier now. He's touching around his neck, where he was before. You can start to see he now has new bruises around his neck, sort of handprint bruises around his neck at the moment, while previously it was just the sort of the other sort of chain bruises that you recognized in particular. And yes, so he's not really able to stand much. Like he's able to basically kind of sit down and compose himself a little bit, but you can tell he's not really in a fit state to do much else because he was pretty much at the, at the door when he was almost like hanging limp, as I said, unconscious in Niall's hands. He wouldn't have survived much longer in that grip. But you can already kind of see a little bit of that sort of his personality coming through. He's trying to crack jokes, but it's really hurting, like painful in the chest, real difficulty in breathing. Even the voice is a bit harsh, a bit hoarse, because obviously you've been grabbed around the throat. So you can kind of see that he's having to recover.
Okay, so I'll finally go in for that belly rub, and then I notice the tattoo as I'm patting his belly.
Yeah.
I ask him about the tattoo.
Oh, he in the moment like of getting caught up in the belly rub, he grabs the thing and he fixes his back over his shirt and he goes, "No, it's not. It's just a memory of a tough time for me." Very obviously very evasive and try to cover it up and trying to play off because don't worry about it. I'll be fine, buddy. I'll be fine. I'll be okay.
I don't recognize the tattoo. Out of character, can you remind me what do I recognize this tattoo? I can't remember the symbol.
Yeah, let's see. Does anyone else recognize it, even just out of character, what they're saying, or I can say it as well?
Seven Sons brand.
The Seven Sons brand, correct.
So on that goblin, Toby's book.
Yeah. The goblin and the rats, even from the very first session in the basement of the bar. as well as Tobin's former owner, the Goblin, had this on him as well. And sorry, Claude, were you saying something?
I just want to get clarification to make sure that we're all on the same page. I know Claude can't see this, but did you say it was a tattoo or a brand?
It's a brand, but obviously with the design of it, it's basically a brand, and you can kind of see they've tried to make it a little bit. It's definitely a brand. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, understandable, rusty. I know we all have rough paths that we got to work through. So I'm curious, is he good enough to move to where we can catch up with the group and kind of figure out what our next moves are?
If he was, he would have to take quite a while to recover. Like you've gotten to the point where he's not going to die, and he's not going to pass out, but he's really not in a position to be moving around a lot, or at least it's going to be very, very labored. And if your concern, for example, is catching up, he would definitely hold you back. Or if the idea of the group is to hang off and come up with a plan and whatever, and leave that gap of time, that's something you're going to have to decide together.
Okay. So can I move him to like a safe spot? Like, is there a safe area somewhere I can get to him so he can rest, so we can figure out what we're going to do?
He's basically sitting on top of a couple of crates and near some barrels and stuff just around the sort of port area. So there's no other sort of pirates or any sort of guards or anywhere around at the moment that you can see. It just seems to be, just finding anything to settle on and around a port. So
okay. Since he's good, I want to regather with the group and kind of update them on Rusty and tell them about the tattoo.
Okay, cool.
Or brand, sorry.
Yeah.
I think it's
that's fine. So basically, as you turn around, Rusty, he goes, honestly, what? I'm going to be fine. Don't worry about me. Look after your friend. He did just if you find him, please tell him thank you for me. And you can see him sort of giggle to himself as well, because he goes, if you were going to tell me that same guy who got sick in the hut and led to being spewed all across the wall was going to be the guy who saves my life, I never would have believed you. So just if you see him, I hope you find him, please tell him thanks for me, okay?
I will. We'll get him. We'll get him. We'll bring him back, and you can tell him yourself too.
I would like that. So yeah, so basically he's going to take a seat there, and he's basically going to just kind of recover as much as he can in the area. At some point, you probably see him kind of slink off a little bit, just to get a little bit more inconspicuous of a hiding spot. But at the moment, he's just catching his breath.
Okay, sounds good. I'm glad he's all right. And then,
so you want to make your way back over to the group?
Yeah, I give him one of those full arm handshakes again.
Yeah, and he handily accepts it as he tries to give it like proper sort of shake as well. The sort of the enthusiasm in the shake caused him to go, oh, sorry, because it shook his chest or whatever. So he goes, yeah, just go get your friend. Go get your friend.
Will do. Are you on Facebook or anything? I'm kidding. All right. So I shake his hand and I go back to the group.
Okay. Cool. So you make your way back over to the group. What do you want to say to the group?
Just Rusty's okay. He was hurt from the fight, and there is a Seven Sons tattoo on his belly. He said it was part of his past, but just giving y'all a heads up. I don't think, we all have tough past. I don't think he's gonna do anything evil. I think that's behind him, but just a heads up.
Was tattoo?
Sorry, a brand.
Yeah.
It was branded on him.
Oh, well, I mean, that's a big difference.
I don't
He was
know.
probably he's a captive at some point. It sounds like because the more we learn about the Seven Sons, the more brutal their
Yeah.
methods seem to be.
Hmm.
I feel like so far Rusty's been trustworthy. I don't.
Yeah. I mean, you got us out of Showbird.
I don't
So,
suspect him yet.
no. Did you find out what he's doing here? He was very cryptic whenever I talked to him.
I didn't.
No.
We didn't talk about it. He was banged up pretty bad and kind of shaken up. He did want to thank Tommy though, so we got to go get him, bring him back so they can see each other again.
Well, why don't we start making our way, start tailing these folk.
Radishing, if we, with my knowledge of the town, what's kind of the nearest inn that's not like super popular, like kind of
Kinda
low
seedy.
key, like only known to the locals. It's not like a big
Yeah.
tourist spot.
Yeah, so probably the nearest one. There's almost like a small one right at the dock area, but there wouldn't really be sort of, let's call it, that quiet hidey hole type inn for there. You basically have the porthole, which is the one that's pretty much on the dock area. But as you can imagine, it generally can get a lot of traffic from, because it's strategically placed as a business to be near the docks. So it's not exactly a quiet hidey hole,
Yeah.
but it is the nearest one that you can see at the moment.
What about one further from the docks? Because I don't trust that. I don't want to. Just in case,
Yeah.
what my goal here is, like, in case we get separated, I want to like call out a regroup point.
Meeting point.
Probably the next one is the Foolish Captain that you guys had already been at before, which is already near your homestead. It was on that street, which at least is in the general direction of where the captain and them were going. So, but that's what you would know of at the moment in terms of ones that are nearby. There's other ones in different quarters of the city, but you can kind of tell these ones are placed because of the traffic. As you can imagine, taverns and inns aren't really designed to be put on quiet streets where not a lot of people will go. They want the footfall.
Yes. Okay. If anything happens, regroup with the foolish captain. Ask the guards. I'll try to give general directions because Claude's terrible with that. But the name at least should get us there if we ask around.
Oh yeah, I remember it.
Yeah.
You know the one.
Yeah.
Rian's
Okay.
just absently petting Tobin and muttering under her breath, like, is this my fault? It's always my fault. I lose them. I always lose them. They're always gone. I'm always alone. I lost them.
Good. And Logan, is there anything you want to do while you're basically preparing for the group to make their way? Otherwise, we're going to skip back to Tommy.
Let's go ahead and skip back to Tommy. I think I'm all good for now.
That's good. Tommy, basically, you're continuing to be dragged along at the moment. You're getting a little bit more awareness at the moment. You're busy. You're still letting your feet kind of drag by as you're walking, as you're being pulled along. It's a little bit slower of a walk, slightly slower than walking pace for you because at the end of this, two people carrying you and dragging you along the ground. Still people rushing by. You're getting a slight scent in the air of bread, of some older bread in there. It's not like the smell of fresh warm bread, but you're getting a little bit of scent of that in the area. And you're also starting to hear some guards chattering about, and every so often you just catch the word of, well, they got him anyway. Damn, that's really gonna. Who the hell's gonna take his spot? Do you think the miners planned this? And you can just be here chattering and bits and pieces of conversations and stuff like that as you go along.
Yeah, Tommy's definitely not helping the process. Like, he's full just letting them have the heavy weight. Well, as much as Tommy is, because I mean he's a pirate, so he's soaking wet, and they're dragging him. And no, I'm just kidding. But he's definitely not helping like walk on his own. His thought is to try to tire out the two that are carrying him by just letting them have his full body weight to carry him.
Yeah, the full dead weight. Yeah, okay, that's absolutely fine. So basically, you're still being dragged along and still being moving along at this stage, and eventually you start to hear a few footsteps in front of you that sound like they're walking onto like planks of wood. As you go along, and you can hear a couple of footsteps, and they're very deep, strong footsteps that are moving away from you. Probably you can sense them in an upward direction. So doomf, doomf, doomf. And eventually you were being brought to this piece of wood as well, and your feet are getting caught at the bottom because you can sense that these are steps. So it's not like a gangway or something flat. It's definitely steps that your feet are being caught up against at the moment. And you basically just hear a door open, and it's basically the captain walking straight in. And he's like, come on. You're basically rushed in, and you get flung onto the ground, and you still got the bag in your head, and you're on basically a carpet or a mat or a rug. You can kind of feel that change in texture underneath you as you've been flung to the ground. Okay. You trying to play unconscious? Are you still moving around a bit? What are you trying to do?
Tommy's just on all fours, and he is just waiting to see what happens. He's not sure if this is the end of the line for him, like if someone has a gun to him or he's about to. So he's just on all fours, just like trying to get some air into his lungs and just trying to settle himself.
Okay. In the background, you basically start to hear one slightly panicked voice, and you can't really pick out what was saying. It's definitely a masculine voice, a little bit erratic, a little bit fast talking at the moment, and you can just kind of hear like get him out of here. So you basically a bit of a frantic voice, and the only thing you sort of pick up then is get him out of here, and you just hear the captain very clearly goes, right, boys, let's take him to the cells. Okay, and you basically get picked up again, and you're being walked a good 20, 30 feet, flung down some stairs again, land onto a wooden surface. And as you get down there, basically one of the guys comes up behind you, gives you a kick in the ribs, and the other one goes, get the door open. And you can hear one of the guys basically pushing boxes or barrels out of the way of something, and you hear a latch and as basically something is being lifted or opened, and you are basically being dragged down a further set of steps into a very cold, very damp area that you can feel. You can feel a little bit of air kind of breezing past you as you go, and you basically get thrown into a cell. Okay, because you get thrown onto a stony area. You can feel that there's bars beside you. You're able to take off the bag if you want to, because there's nothing around you. And you basically just see that you're in a stone like tunnel with a little bit of light way off to your left-hand side, little tiny bit of light, and you can feel that there's air coming from that direction as well.
So Tommy whips the hood off, and is there actually like bars and like a door that gets?
Yeah, in fact, it's a very, very small, almost cage that you're in. It's like you could stand up into it, but it's almost like single person standing size, if that makes sense. Like a standing crate. And basically in front and behind you, in front and to the side of you, there's at least 6, 7, 8 more of these cells in them with different chains on them and rusty bars and doors being open. So you can tell what is in this room that you're in.
And they just shut. And they have they shut the door to this cage.
Yep.
All right. And is there any other stuff in with me, like a bucket, a bed, anything, or is it so small that I'm pretty much gonna either sit in it or stand in it?
This, you can tell this is absolutely not made for comfort, and even in your experience in life, this is not a jail cell. This is not a holding room. That's not a room for processing. There's very little around here.
Tommy, like his anxiety shoots through the roof, and he immediately grabs the bars and he starts shaking. What is this? What is this? Give me the captain. I need to speak to him. And just like he's like grabbing like the side bars, the front bars, and he's like very much shaking.
Yeah.
Tommy's panicking really in the small space.
All it's really doing is shaking your cage, and it's rattling sort of the cage that's beside you. You can see a little bit of sort of stone crumbling around you as sort of the cage is almost kind of flipping, just being shook back and forth and banging against the walls that's near you. And you can see a couple of other cells on the walls and scratchings on the wall and things out there.
Did any of the guards stick around, the ones that brought me down here, or did they just turn and walk away right away?
They pretty much turned and walked away right away.
So Tommy, after like 2-3 minutes of like literal like banging on everything, roof, sides, he's like punching it, he's like swinging, and he like gets himself into like a state of like almost exhaustion, just like, and he sits himself down. And then I look across the other cages. Is there anyone else in any other, or do I see any people in any other cages?
Yeah, no, you can't see anybody in any of the other cages at the moment. In one of the cages opposite you, you can see like maybe a little bit of bread, or maybe like a bit of fabric that doesn't look quite as old. So maybe somebody was there at some point, not too long ago. Can you give me a perception check as you look towards the cell beside you?
16.
Okay, 16. So basically, you're looking for any clues. You're looking along the bars. You're looking along the walls as you're going along, and you do notice inside one of the cells to your side, so on the same side of the room as you are, and you can see that there's some scratching on the wall. Okay, and basically you can see what looks like two different words on the wall. The first word has been quite heavily scratched out. The first one's been quite heavily scratched out, and the second one is a little bit clearer. Okay, the first word that you can see that begins to scratch out, you can make out the letter T, and then something. So imagine like the scratching's mainly at the lower part of it. So you can see a T, something looks like an L, something, US. And clearer underneath that scratched out word, you can see what looks like a capital V, an I, something, TO, something.
Yeah.
Okay? So basically you can see, this is an area you can see chains in that. There's quite a few different chains. There's almost what looks like a collar chain. There's some wrist chains, some ankle chains. Tell that these things are very, very packed in there, and you can see that there's just a lot of damage and scuffles, and you can see people have tried to break out of these and they haven't. At least that's what you've picked up on at the moment.
Yeah, Tommy recognizes the writing right away as Telemus and Victor. Is what he
Viator. Yeah.
Viator, sorry, Viator. I said Victor. Viator, but his past is coming up, and after the like exhaustive sit down state, he puts his elbows on his knees and puts his head down, and pretty much not full sobbing, but tears are like coming down his face. He's like full panic has taken over, and his past is coming back, and he's having trouble controlling. Like there's no toughness. It's almost like he's a little kid again, just stuck in this.
Small space, absolutely. Okay. Right. Okay. Well, so basically, that's happening for you at the moment. You're basically stuck in this area at the moment. We're going to pop back to the main group and see exactly what their thoughts are at the moment. They basically have come up with a little bit of a plan of the general direction that they want to go into, as well as this idea of if something goes wrong, fall back to the foolish captain. Guys, I imagine you guys have probably wanted to make your way across the courtyard. Does that sound about right in the general direction of the Hunter's Mark?
Correct.
Okay. Claude and Logan, could you both give me a wisdom check, please? Because you're trying to track this Hunter's Mark.
17.
14.
You're still going in the right general direction. The signal is weaker of a feeling at the moment. You can maybe tell something's in the way of it. It's not quite as out in the open as you had picked up. Logan, in particular, you're probably the one that's able to kind of sense what that seems like. You've used this kind of in hunting, and you've kind of noticed this with animals, say if they burrow into a den or go into a cave. At the moment, you can kind of sense where this sort of weakened sense would be. Claude, you're more about knowing the general direction is the same, but you haven't really sensed that difference in the, let's call it the wavelengths that you're looking at.
I'll say, I think we're still going in the right direction, but it feels weaker. Are they getting further away?
Yeah, it definitely feels that way, but I think we should definitely head in this direction then.
Does it feel like they're still on foot to you?
It does.
Alright.
And are there like rooftops? You know what Logan wants to do.
There's as many rooftops as you want, Logan.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna, if I can, climb up on top of a building and just kind of head in that general direction.
Yep.
That might actually help me kind of triangulate.
Yeah.
Their positioning.
Okay. As you get to the rooftop, you find that your cloak basically tugs you very, very quickly up onto the rooftop, and out of the way as a dagger flies past your leg, because none other than the silhouette of Niall is up on the rooftop on this area.
This is my domain. What's he doing up here?
So the cloak is ready for him this time. There's no sneaking up on you this time. In fact, it basically helped you from getting a dagger to the foot. And as you're prone on the ground at the moment, because the cloak swiftly pulled you from that side, Niall is dashing towards you at the moment. And just that Terminator-esque run, just emotionless face, he's just running straight at you across the rooftops, and basically roll for initiative.
Okay.
Did we see this happening? Is it all of us?
Jeez. Yeah, does anyone else see this?
Nope. Nobody else sees it.
On the roof.
Welcome to the rooftops, motherfucker. Welcome to the Thunderdome.
Yeah.
3 minutes!
It's a playtime.
And this guy's practically invincible. How many arrows have I put in this guy's knees? But I rolled a 24. So.
Rolled a 24. Nice. Because I had rolled 23, so very, very good. Yeah. Yeah.
What is your
basically,
plus to initiative?
I have +5 to initiative.
Yeah.
I think it's dexterity based, isn't it?
It's a dexterity based one. Yeah. So okay, cool. So basically, you get pulled off to the side by the cloak. The first dagger whizzes past and spikes into the rooftop, and Niall is dashing towards you. So that was basically the equivalent of the advantage that he got on that by being able to see that and being prepared. But before he gets to you, you're able to react to that. So if you want to get back up on your feet, that's going to be half your movement. But Niall is closing the distance, so he's only about maybe 20 feet away from you and just sprinting right
And
into your
how
face.
high up are these rooftops?
So you climbed up about 2 stories.
2 stories.
You jumped out of 2 stories.
I could jump that. I got a magic cloak as well. Come on. All right, so
It was that day he realized the cloak couldn't fly with him in it.
Can't use it like a parachute.
Yeah, come on.
Batman style.
Give me some air resistance. See,
Okay, Logan, yep.
Stand up.
Half your movement stand up. So basically, I'm gonna let you basically roll an acrobatics check for me, please.
Oh, weird. 22.
So basically, not only do you pop up, you almost do that kind of like break dance, sort of swing your legs around, spin-a-rooney style, and pop back up onto your feet, ready to go to react. What do you want to do? Awesome.
I'm gonna charge at him and try to tackle him off the roof.
Nice. Okay. Very good. Okay. So I'm going to give you advantage because he is not expecting this. Like he you're never going to see shock or surprise in his face, but even just the composition of his body and the angles, and this is a hunter used to being the aggressor and chasing down. He is in no way prepared for somebody to make the move on him. Okay, so it's going to be a strength-based challenge, and you're going to get advantage on that because it's so completely out of surprise.
And strength is not my strengths.
Okay.
19 for the first one.
Yep.
14 for the second. So yeah, 19.
Okay, cool. So you basically tell me, how do you charge at him? Is it like a shoulder to the gut? Is it going at his legs? Is it almost going high up for a clothesline? What are you sort of thinking?
I'm gonna try to just bash my shoulder into him as hard as I can and see if I can push him off without going off myself, if possible.
Yeah. Okay. You connect. So not only do you kind of spin up on your feet, but it's such a swift motion that the cloak almost gives you like an added sort of momentum into this swing, kind of spins you around, and you drive that shoulder proper spear right into his gut, catches him off guard. Once again, you see no change in the facial expression, but the body was not ready for that, and you both are very clearly going towards the edge of the roof. If you're going to try to grab the rooftop to hold on, it's going to be at disadvantage because you're very clearly doing a bunch of other stuff at the moment. Or you just go with him in the tackle over the rooftop.
I'm gonna go with him. I'll take it. I want to make sure this guy gets down, and hopefully I'm pushing him down towards the rest of the group. My think was
that is 100%. You've shouldered him right to the gut, and you both are flying off the rooftop, and you are able to hold him underneath you as you are falling. You're basically struggling through the air, and 2 stories, bam, crushed right into the ground. Okay, you are going to take. You're going to take 18 points of damage on that, but you're going to find that basically the body of Niall almost breaks apart in several different areas because the 18 points you took is still nothing compared to the damage he took with you on top of him. So basically the party just sees out of nowhere Logan was going up, and then Logan came very quickly back down onto the ground and just smushed. You heard nothing. There was no sound. There was no shouting. Out of nowhere, just these 2 bodies come plummeting back onto the ground. Logan is taking a huge amount of damage, but at least he's the one on top of this struggle. And Niall's body is basically crushed underneath Logan and just driven into the ground. It's a hard, stony surface. There's absolutely no giving it whatsoever. Plus all of his body weight and Logan's body weight driven into the ground. And Niall is not moving at all. This is the most still you've seen Niall because the damage to his body, to his, jigsaw-esque body is just been absolutely wrecked at the moment.
Kind of rolls over onto his back. He's definitely very dazed, but he's hoping this guy doesn't get back up again. Hopefully he's finally down.
Okay. Rest of the party, yeah.
I was gonna say, I just pictured this ultimate like anime fall that like he's punching with his hands, but the cape is also punching. It's just like four hands like coming down on him.
Yeah.
Logan up.
Yeah, Bo's gonna go over and check on Logo and kind of give now a check.
You guys gotta stop falling off roofs.
Today's not dead, buddy. Yeah, right?
How are you?
What happened up there?
I'm hurt, but I'm alive. How's he doing?
Can you
Ah,
can I
That's
check
a
his
good
body?
question.
Is his face the same one? Like we took all the stuff off of it, or like we tried, right? Is
The eyes look open because there are no eyelids, but there are pieces of his face that have broken off. There's, the one of the arms looks like it's very much out of socket, but still somehow attached to it. Legs are mangled, body is compressed completely into the thing. There's nowhere near as much blood as you would expect a normal human to have if they were smushed into the ground. But the body itself is just completely mangled.
I don't think he's getting up.
Is this the same Nile that we had captured the night before? Can I tell?
Yes. Unless there's another Nile in your life that you might mistake him for.
I don't know if they've made like an army of clones or like what the fuck.
And even if that was the case, how would you know if it was an army of clones?
I'm only asking because we messed with his face the night before, so I assume the marking or the like extra shoe.
The pieces of the face that you took off are also not on this body. You think it's because they're the same pieces you took off, but there was also such a violent fall and crush into the ground. Something else could have happened as well. So you think it's the same one.
Is there a pulse?
Wasn't even a pulse the first time round, or there was barely a pulse. Yeah.
I couldn't remember. Okay.
Yeah, I think there was absolutely barely a pulse. And you'd have to do a medical check for me if you want, which would include leaning in close towards him to take his pulse.
Why'd you say that?
just describing that's how you check pulses,
So you touch the man.
You can't tell them from a distance. Yeah, you touch.
I feel like
It is,
need
man.
to call that one out. But yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna check.
So you
Plus
touch
one.
him.
I lean in to check the pulse just in case.
Okay.
It's a 15.
Yeah. And you are not picking up anything.
I don't know if that means he's dead or if this is just. I don't know what they've done to him.
That's his
He's not
resting
stopping.
state.
I don't know what they've done to him yet. I know what happened when it happened, but I don't know what they did to him.
I mean, based on the look of his legs and arms right now, even if he was conscious, he wouldn't physically be able to do much. I don't think he's a threat right now, but I don't know what has happened. I want to believe that this is the man that I used to know, but
Do we tie it? Do we restrain him? Do we
Only one way to end it: take his head off. You know how it goes.
Rian's gonna walk, well, I guess stagger up in a way. You can tell she's not okay at this point and just fall over Niall, and her hands are sparking, and she's just gonna shocking grasp him a few times. Like, you can't have them! You can't have them! Just having a little bit of a mental breakdown.
Okay.
Wait. I don't want to try and pull Rian back from the body.
Oh, I thought you were going to try
You
and throw
wanna touch me
more
while I'm
water on her.
sparking?
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Have some water.
Okay. So let's say with Rain's shocking grasp basically being right at the hands, so it's not necessarily charging through her entire body. It's basically being emitted from her hands. So Claude, you're going to try to lift her. So Rain, basically you are almost kind of doing the. Are you like trying to revive him? Or are you trying to punish him? What's your sort of mentality?
It's the punishment, just
Punishment,
not
yeah.
wanting any more friends to be taken or family.
Okay, so basically, when you're doing that, you can see that little bit of hair that's on the head and some of the skin. The hair is getting singed, and some of the skin parts are breaking off because they're again almost overly burnt, like really crispy bacon in some of these parts because they're just falling apart. So you're starting to see more of the skull, for example, underneath that, and some of the hair has been burnt away from the side and all, until basically Claude comes over. Claude, are you going to try to lift her up or reason with her? What are you thinking?
I'm just gonna try and pull her back real quick because she's doesn't sound all there. Just try and
Rain's not
get
gonna
her away
fight
so
too
we can calm her
much,
down.
just kind of be a dead weight. Breathing heavily.
Claude, can you give me a
okay.
strength check?
Yeah.
Because I know you're not fighting against her, but it's still trying to lift a weight that doesn't want to be lifted.
12.
It's enough to at least pull her away from it. It's not like a full-on scoop and lift away from her, but it's at least raising her away from the body. And Rain, are you like still outstretching? You still trying to do more damage even when you're being lifted away? Do you think you're coming to your senses? What do you think's happening?
Not coming to senses, but just breathing really hard and kind of just staring at the body.
Okay, yeah. So basically, you're being lifted away from this body that's been crushed, mangled, burnt, singed. Arrows to the knee. Little bits of the skull starting to show up because a piece of skin are crisping and flaking off away from it. At one point, you see Tobin sniffing at one of the crispy pieces of meat off to the side, and you can tell he's kind of looking around him. So he's basically about 2 seconds away from grabbing one of these pieces. You want to let him have it? Do you want to say no? What do you want to do?
I'm not in a state to really.
Yeah, to really notice.
Can I stop Tobin? Does Bo notice Tobin, or am I feel like I'd be fixated on him.
Tell me, are you more likely to be focused on the body, on Rain's breakdown, on Claude helping her up,
I think
on Logan's well-being? What do you think you're looking at?
I think I'd be on paying attention to Rian and Claude right now. That seems like the main attraction. So I don't think I'd notice.
I don't think you'd notice either. And Logan, you're certainly not in a position to notice. So without any interference, all of a sudden you just see a little bit of a sneaky side eye, and Tobin grabs one of the pieces and basically runs off beside Rian. And you can see him just kind of crunching away at something in the background.
Rain, could you ask Niall not to feed your service animal, please?
Okay. Logan, we're going to come back to you. Basically, you crumpled on top of Niall. You didn't even roll off. Basically, your cloak almost dragged you off to the side, away from this. So you're lying on your back. The cloak is kind of half underneath you, half off to the side, almost slightly trying to tug you away from the body. And I see it like it almost reaches up and wipes your brow, and it's really, you can kind of sense it's sort of just checking up on you as best it can non-verbally. You've taken 18 points of damage with that there. How does that feel compared to your total health? What are you sort of going through at the moment?
I've just kind of been dazed and staring up at the sky, but eventually I sit up and kind of pat myself down, see if anything's broken. Actually, can I do this to myself? Can I cure wounds on myself?
What does the spell say?
That's a good idea. I should probably read. A creature you touch. So
touch yourself.
You can touch yourself.
Alright, I'm gonna touch myself.
Whoa!
In the middle of the street. Wow.
Get a room.
Okay, cool. How many points of damage do you heal?
1d8 plus spellcasting ability modifier. I don't know my spellcasting ability.
I think your spellcasting ability is for ranger.
On your spell page
Yeah.
at the top.
Oh, modifier +3. Okay, so 1d8 +3.
Yeah.
4, so 7.
7 points of damage. Okay, cool.
Let me go back up a little.
So probably the main sort of impact that you're feeling in terms of the ease that it felt is it's in your wrists, it's in your elbows, and your forearms, your shoulder, basically these parts that were driven into the body and then obviously hit the ground and hit Niall first. So it's you'd be feeling probably a lot of stiffness in particular up at the top, and you're starting to feel that swelling go down a little bit at your arm level, sort of clavicle, sort of, you know, even just the way your neck sort of bent and hit the ground. So suddenly that extreme sudden deceleration as you were in the air and then bang straight into the hard ground. And that's basically what you sort of feel as you're getting up at that time. Yeah. So
get back on my
as
feet
you
and lean against the wall, hopefully.
so you're going to lean against the wall. You're basically still seeing Rain being almost consoled, held back by Claude. Bo is watching that as well. Viator, what's sort of going on with yourself?
So where did I end up? Am I would I would assume I followed like Claude and Logon and all them.
Yeah. Everybody's there. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody hurt? Can I heal anybody? Still? Anybody still hurt?
I mean, Logan took a pretty big hit.
You did see Logan fall through the air. So
I can cast Healing Word on him. To
I
heal
would
him.
greatly appreciate that.
yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Cool. What are you keeping track of spell slots?
Yes.
I was thinking the same exact thing.
I just used
Yeah,
my last
yeah.
one. I'm full up now. That was my last.
Okay.
I rolled a 13. And then 10 healing points.
Cool. Logan, how are you feeling?
So I get 10
After
more.
Yep.
All right, back up to 27. I'm feeling much better. Thank you.
Oh, you did. Yeah, that was that was quite a lot. Okay, fantastic. Right. Okay, Ryan. What's your sort of mind state at the moment? Obviously, you're being held by Claude at the moment. Claude, what are you saying to Ryan? Sort of in this interaction, Bo. Are you basically just standing watching? What's your sort of input? What are you thinking?
I don't know how to calm down Rian at this point. Are you still like wigging
Erratic.
out? Erratic, yeah.
Not like wigging out, but like not quite there.
Yeah.
Claude's trying to take her attention away from the body. He's trying to like get her to focus. We're here. Everybody's okay. We're alive. Focus.
Yeah, we gotta focus on getting Tommy. I know Niall was a part of taking him away. We gotta refocus on getting him.
Okay, we're gonna restrain him. We're gonna let the town guard take care of him. All right, and we're gonna keep moving because we gotta keep up with Tommy. Okay.
Yeah. Logan, did you see anything while you're up there? Did you even have a chance?
At the moment I got up there, just a dagger was thrown at me. So no, I didn't see much of anything.
You think you want to try it again, or you want to keep moving?
I think I've had enough of the rooftop for today. Maybe tomorrow.
Thanks, Logan.
You want to try it again? Dude, just plummeted off the roof. Get your ass back up there, boy, and see what you see.
He's never gonna go to the second floor of a building.
I
ever.
swear, if you come back down here with no information.
The sympathy that Bo is showing is off the charts. Do you wanna go back up there?
I mean, you already got up. You fell off. You fell off once today, and from my experience, falling off once is enough. I wouldn't have gone back up so quickly. So
Okay.
I'm going to take a second to restrain Nile with some rope, and I want to like prop him like to the side of the road, like so that guards that come by or somebody spots him, they can have the guards take care of him because we don't have time to.
while he's restraining them, are there like any street vendors nearby?
There are some cowering behind their stalls. As you can imagine, most of the public frantically ran away whenever there's this massive collision straight into the ground. So most general public ran away, and then you got some vendors basically cowering behind their stall.
Can I approach one and see if they have any information about if they've seen somebody carrying a tall, lanky, almost man go by? Yeah,
you're gonna have to try to convince him of something because like a lot has happened. He's absolutely petrified. There's been so much happening. Not only was there, because he's babbling and he's like, first there was the protest and everything happened, and then the crash in the ground. He's as you put it, wigging out behind the stall.
Listen, I hear you. That's why we're here. We're trying to quell the storm, if you will. There's a lot going on right now. We're here. I don't know if you see that man over there. He's with the Brightword family. Marcel. Sorry, the Marcels family. We took care of one assailant. He was a part of the attack last night, and we're trying to get everything calmed and bring order.
Yeah, cool. Persuasion. Just going to assume you don't want to intimidate the guy who's already trying.
No, this is I'm just trying to get good information from him. That was a 21.
Sorry, did you say a number? I didn't hear a number.
I did, 21.
Oh, sorry. I thought that's the only reason I was waiting because I didn't actually hear anything. 20. Okay, right. Okay, so you're able to basically almost like clicking in his face and kind of holding him still and start to stop the physical shaking as he's behind the stall. Maybe even kind of bring him back to reality. Maybe shake a little bit of coin in front of his face. Along that sort of line, you're trying to basically talk vendor to him, and it does basically help him bring him back into the moment at that time. You basically get the feeling that maybe you can get like one or two questions out of him quite quickly, just while you have this temporary focus, because you can see every so often he's looking over where these bodies crashed into the ground. You can see your friend tying up this mangled guy up at the far end of the street. So there's other things around him that could be distracting him. So you maybe can get like a little bit of information out of him.
Yeah, I just want to ask them, did they see Tommy go by, somebody dragging a man? Yeah,
he did. Yeah. They went that way. You were saying the Marcels? Yeah, I think they're in trouble because the guys, they went into the Marcel house.
They went into the Marcel house?
They went into the Marcel house. Yeah, do you think they're like, oh my God, after what happened to True Storm, and Delilah Brunswick, do you think Nelson Marcel's next?
Sure.
Oh my God! Right.
Here, let's just keep this between you and me for now, though. I'm gonna toss him 5 gold.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's enough for him to just like, right. Okay. That's fine. And you can just see him pull a cord, and this curtain drops down in front of the stall. He's just shopping up for the day. He is gone with the 5 gold coin. So,
all right.
Yeah, as far as he's concerned, that's enough for him.
That's good. All right. I'm gonna go back to the group then, and tell them that so the vendor just now told me that they took Tommy and he saw them go into your house, Claude. the Marcel's house.
Does the hunter's mark seem to be pointing in that same direction? Does everything? Can I tell if it lines up?
Give me a wisdom check.
Oh fuck! 3.
Can't tell anything. Logon.
Check as well.
Yeah, of course. Yep.
There's wisdom. 13.
Very faint general direction. Logon, you basically your bell got rung pretty badly on the fall. So you think it's coming from that direction. Yeah. So you think it is. Like if you had to pick any direction in the world, you'd pick there. But it's not exactly a confident bet. Not a confident feeling about it.
I mean, I have no reason to not trust that guy. He seemed pretty shaken up, and he understood we were, working
I
together.
say we go in that direction.
While you consider that, Tommy, you basically in your breakdown at the moment, basically through exhaustion, you're almost kind of zoning out. You're just out of despair, and you're basically having a couple of thoughts popping into your head. You're imagining an incredibly small, tight space. It's very cold, but you feel like wood around you. You can imagine chattering outside the door, 2 people arguing. Their voices, but their voices from a long, long time ago. So you know that this is not quite reality you're experiencing, and this is more of a PTSD type moment that you're in this. And then all of a sudden in front of you, before you come aware, you imagine yourself standing out near a different dockyard. Yeah, you're looking out a different dockyard, almost in a dreamlike state, and you see a man approach you, a very caring man. In fact, it's an elven individual. Comes up, he kneels beside you, checks on you, goes, "Are you okay? Are you lost? We're going to try to get you to safety." And before you know it, this elven individual is captured by the captain and the other guards in the area, and all you see is a younger version of the captain looking at you, goes, "Well done, boy. We've been trying to get Niall for a while now. You did your job." And then bang, you're back into the reality of the cage, feeling guilt, feeling the stress of this, remembering the cage that you're in at the moment. And that's basically where you're sort of stuck at the moment. You can hear a voice above you, a little bit of murmuring, and you can basically hear one voice very slightly go, "This is actually pretty big for a pantry. This basement's bigger than my house. It's pretty incredible." And that's basically, yeah.
I'm realizing that it's present day that I'm hearing again, not.
Yeah.
I've come back to okay. All right. Yeah, Tommy still has his because he's sitting on the ground, elbows on his knees, face buried into his hands or into his arms, and he's just in it. He's not cried as much, but he feels very defeated, and he's just kind of ready for whatever's going to happen. Just have it happen, kind of attitude. Because he just feels like anything would be better than being in this cage.
Right. Okay. Back to the main group. In that time, Claude, you've been presented with the information that the captain, along with Tommy as the captive, have entered the Marcel home. You're not quite sure the rationale for that. You've heard the theory that Nelson Marcel is the next target after what had happened to True Storm and Brunswick. And then you also have Bo's theory of something happening with the Marcels and the captain. What's your sort of thought process at the moment?
I think that we're tired and exhausted, and that charging in there, if we were to fight, is going to be a terrible move. Can I think of any secret? Is there like a secret entrance into the manor or the house? Any sort of
Do you know
like,
of? Not that you
tunnels?
know
No.
of. No.
Okay.
But that vendor gave me kind of an idea.
What's that?
When he mentioned, remember the miners? And we can
Uh-huh.
somehow get their help. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Just blow up my house, charge in there.
I never said. I mean,
I remember what
No,
happened
no,
with the
but-
miners.
but at least maybe like a rowdy protest.
Distraction of some sort.
I don't know.
Yeah, draw people out.
Yeah, I mean they have. As far as we know, they still have True Storm. I mean, I know he said
Yeah,
this.
as far as you
yeah.
know, exactly. Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe they can. Yeah. Bring out the worst.
The only thing is, you did hear the vendor say after what happened to True Storm and what happened to Brunswick. So that's a new bit of information for you.
Well, we knew Brunswick. Brunswick was the person that got her neck snapped, right?
Yeah,
At
It was, yeah.
But I guess I would assume, or just intuit that he meant that he was captured, since I didn't.
That's fine. That's fine.
What time of day is it, Radishin?
Are we looking about maybe 11:30? Because you guys had sort of got up and went to the port, and then there was the massive scuffle, so it's late morning.
I mean, we could also try sneaking in. I don't know.
I mean, if we were to create a distraction with the miners, right? Tell them to regroup at night, do an evening protest. We rest up because I think we're all pretty tapped. That battle was rough on us. Maybe under the cover of night and with the distraction of the miners, we can both draw these pirates out and get inside to find Tommy.
I mean, I don't know how much time do we have to let Tommy
I
linger.
mean, does anybody have the strength to? I'm just above table. I'm completely out of spell slots. I think.
Yeah, me as well.
Can we
Yeah,
even
I'm
trust
used to
you,
it.
Marcel? These people seem to be awfully familiar with your home.
Yeah.
I've come this far. I haven't been home in years. All of this is as much a surprise to me as all of you.
I mean, you're out of the loop.
Rian just casts a distrustful look at Claude and starts spinning little conspiracy theories.
Fuck. I mean, that's all I can tell you is it's been years since I've seen my family, since I've seen Niall. Niall disappeared when I was many years younger. What's happened to him in that time? I've been searching for him. This isn't the way I wanted things to go.
I love two things that you guys went after Tommy. You got to where Tommy is. You're like, okay, now we wait 10 hours and then we'll get Tommy. And secondly, a night protest might be the funniest thing I ever heard. When are you gonna get the most people together for a protest? At night, when the streets are bustling at night.
Evening, 8
Yeah,
hours,
I
8
know.
hours of sleep.
I know. I was cracking up. I was just thinking, okay, let's go get Tommy, but let's wait 8 hours and then get Tommy. It'll be
At
fine.
11 in the morning. Yeah, half 11 in the morning. Yeah. Okay.
If we want to charge in there, I'm down.
We'll
I
go
don't
to
know
Oh,
if
no.
we did.
for the rest.
I don't want to change. I want you guys to do exactly whatever you were going to do. It's just it was a very hurry up and wait. Like let's mark them. Let's follow where they're going. Now we wait.
Wait till they bring out Tommy's corpse.
Yeah.
If they're stationed, they didn't seem like they wanted to kill him. They want him to meet somebody. From what
Yeah.
we heard the captain say, they didn't seem
Are
like
we
they
still
wanted to kill
feeling
him.
like the ground rumble or anything from the mountain that's moving? Like, is that anywhere in our heads? Like, are we able to keep that in the forefront
It's
at all?
it at this stage, probably with all the distraction, it's almost like a consistent background noise for you.
Okay.
But yeah, you start to feel it's like you were feeling probably most of the movement as the basically the moving volcano was like separating from the mountain area. That was probably the reason for the most shaking at the time, as opposed to an individual step by step, crunching towards you. So
Okay.
yeah, it's
Never mind.
probably in there, but the most of the wreck was that struggle of the air and the firestorm at that time.
Yeah.
And then the actual breaking away from the mountain and its steps as it was getting moving.
Okay.
Do we
I
think
think-
we could maybe one of us could sneak in and get Tommy out? But I don't think we can all go. I don't know. Would it be easier just?
I think you're right. I mean, if we can get the miners out there to as a distraction, we might be able to sneak in. I'm not a stealthy guy, but I mean, I know the house.
Yeah. Well, what do you say we go to the foolish captain and see if we can get a lead on where the miners might be?
We didn't see the protests that morning, did we? Or was that just Tommy?
Oh. No, it's Tommy.
I hold the
Okay.
What
knowledge.
does everybody think of that? I know, Rian, you're kind of feeling a little distrustful of Claude, but still need to find out where Tommy is, right? He's a part of this. He's a part of our effort.
Yeah. Rian's not sure
As well,
about
go for
Claude,
him. Okay.
but yeah, the just really wanting to rescue Tommy to not lose anybody else, but also has a little bit left to understand that we're not in a place where we can do that effectively. So she's just kind of quiet and is like, let's just go to the tavern.
Tell where we're going.
Team Tavern.
Team Tavern as well.
All right.
Okay. Right. So basically, you've made it to the street. You can see the Marcel house, and you've decided let's go for a pint. And so you're going to turn around. You're going to walk towards the Foolish Captain, which is just at the end of the street that you're at. So it's not actually that far away. Maybe only a couple of minutes of a walk from there. You can still see most. You can still. You kind of like the idea of the Foolish Captain because there's windows at the front. There's that message board where you saw Viator's poster before. You'd went in, so you can see some windows at the front of that gives you a good scope down the street, so that if anybody did come out the front door, you would see them, and you can basically take your time from there.
Can I take a
Okay.
beat and listen to see if I can hear any music?
Yeah,
Listening.
there's no music whatsoever. In fact, a lot of people are really shaken in there, and you can see them really talking about the protest, and you can hear them talking about the protest and the miners and what the hell happened out there. And then you got other ones going, "What are you talking about the protest? You see the port? Basically, all these people who just ran from different chaotic situations, all converging in this one area, all basically manically trying to get their story across." And then you've got some people who are saying it's scared, and some people who are trying to embellish what they said. It's like you probably hear one guy talking about, "Yeah, I fought off a couple of guys." You have all sorts of different sort of tall tales and recollections of what's been happening in different directions. So yeah, okay. So basically, you're in the tavern. It's just a bar, so it's not a bed. There's no beds. There's no nothing in there. It's just a large drinking area. Okay. So basically you're in there. So give me a length of time that you guys are sort of sitting around waiting.
Pick a
I
time.
don't know about waiting. I was gonna try to inquire about. I'd like to figure out where the miners might be, for what, like, if they have like a guild, I guess, like a base of operations. They seem like
So, give me a perception check or an investigation check, whichever one's higher. Probably investigation.
Mr. D.
yeah. Investigation. That is a 19.
As you're looking across, there's a very long bar, very long bar in front of you, basically traveling almost the entire distance of the building.
Chad, if you're just getting
And
here,
far
we had
lots
to
of
we had to switch
chairs
up the
and,
scenes a little bit
the
because
alcoves and
Discord was
things
not
out
working.
there. You can see in particular, there's quite a few people circled around one smaller individual, and you see there's a lot of, taps on the shoulder and, consoling this individual who's basically just got his head in a drink. He's barely finished any of his drink because he's just absolutely bawling his eyes out at that time. Who you in particular do recognize to be Beauregard, the other Beau.
Yeah, Beau's here. Beauregard from the miners.
Yes.
Okay, so I identify him from across the
Yes.
bar. I'm gonna. All right, guys. I'm gonna go over. I see Beau over there. I don't know what we can do, but I'm gonna go try to talk to him and see if maybe he can give us some assistance on this one.
Right. As that's happening, Tommy, what you're going to find as you are in this pit at the moment, the hatch above you opens up. Okay, and two individuals are walking down. One is just one of the general sort of pirates that you know. The second one is Captain Zian himself. Captain Zian is holding something in his hand, something long and metallic is in his hand as he makes his way down the stairs. Okay. So as he sees, he goes, "Oh, you still don't like the small spaces, I see, boy.
Just do what the hell you're gonna do. What am I even here? What is this about?"
Well, the thing is, boy, we came up to find extra value for you, because while I'd love to have you back on me crew, I don't think so. We thought we'd put you to work. And he takes this large, basically metallic rod that he has, and at the other side of the stairs where the latch had led to was basically the equivalent of a furnace. Okay, and you can see one of the other guards is basically taking the time to stoke this up and get this really, really hot, and you can feel this heat in the room, but it's also still being blown the other direction because the wind's coming from your left and the furnace being on your right hand side. Okay.
Yeah.
The metallic symbol, metallic thing that the captain has, he hands it over to the guard, and the guard sticks it into the fire. Okay.
When my cell, what kind of latch is on like the door? Is it lock and key? Is it?
Yeah, lock and key.
And who did I see have the key, or who was it the same guy that's over at the furnace?
No, that's one of the other ones. That's I see. So the two guys that would have been at your arms, you only kind of know them because you only saw them at the end when they threw you into the cell and you were able to take the bag off.
Okay.
So it's not one of those two; it's one of the other ones.
All right.
Okay. And you can hear him at one point when he's sort of talking away and the captain's looking at you, and you can kind of see he's kind of enjoying himself as he's looking at you in that cell. In particular, on his hip, you can see a large decorative, almost looks like a conch shell on his waistband that you hadn't really noticed before. and this in particular is glinting in the light that's coming from the other end of the tunnel that you can see. And as he's basically walking around and he's basically trying to figure out his next steps, all you hear the other guy goes, "It's ready now, boss."
As they came down, Tommy stood up in the cell, and he was he's like listening. He's listening to what the captain's saying, but as the guy says it's ready, he's like, Tommy's like, grabs the bar and he's like, I worked with you before, and I'm not gonna do what you want. It led to so much stuff that I can't even take back. And Tommy's trying to sound tough, but because he had just gotten done crying, there's that little like emotion behind his voice in the back of his throat.
Voice,
he's like, I won't do it again.
Oh, I know, boy. Had you back in me crew, but it seems not to be the case. So we're going to put you to work. And as the other guy says, "It's ready now, boss," he takes the stick, the metallic stick, and he turns and goes, "You can we're going to do this the easy way or the hard way." And at the end of this metallic stick is a large glowing symbol that has looks like sun rays coming off it, and lots of other sort of details and swirls off it. I don't have a picture of it at the moment, but I think you can guess by context what it looks like from before. He goes, did you ever think, about the business we were in? Do you think we went from place to place just looking for spices and just looking for textiles? Do you really think that was what we were in the business of? There's a supply and demand out there. While at one stage you were a supplier, you're now about to be the product. So I hope you enjoyed your little time with your friends, because you won't be seeing them for a very, very long time. This metallic brand is glowing with almost a white heat to it. You know that with the small size of this cell, basically he's just he can just stick this in. There's no way you're dodging this. Basically as soon as he puts this in. So you can either pick where you want it, or I'll pick where you get it.
So Tommy takes off his jacket, and he kind of has like a vest underneath, but like the arms are both exposed on the so there's no sleeves on it, and he turns to show him his shoulder, and he says, do what you have to, or do what you're gonna do anyway. But Tommy would I don't know what the role is. Tommy would like to so he's showing that he's accepting of it to try to let the captain's guard down, and as he goes to try to brand, Tommy would like to try to fight him for the branding and try to reverse it back onto the captain.
Yeah. Okay. So the first rule I'm going to ask you for is a deception check, because you're looking to deceive him that you're willingly taking this brand.
That's a 14.
Okay, that's fine. That's good enough. You can tell the cockiness of the captain is it's like he's in a cage. What's he really going to do from here? Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to do a sleight of hand, because at the moment he's about to brand you, you're going to try to basically dodge and grab the rod.
Okay. That's a nat 20, baby. That's 26 total.
Oh shit!
Confidently, the captain struts up because, well, almost like easier than I thought it was going to be. The boys accepted his fate, and the hand goes in, the brand goes in towards your arm, and tell me how you
So
disarm him.
So I had this arm facing towards him. Tommy does a motion where the part like around where the captain's like holding it, he puts that under his arm, like kind of swings, puts that under his armpit, grabs somewhat the middle of it, even if it burns his hands, and is gonna over his shoulder try to put it back into the captain's face.
Okay. Right, so that's going to be a strength check. First of all, you're going to take 2 points of damage because it is an extremely hot piece of metal that you are grabbing, but this is adrenaline sort of kicking in, so you're trying to shove this back. Yep. So now it's a strength check. So you've been able to basically deceive him and get in a position where you can have control of the brand. Strength check against him trying to pull back on it.
All right, that's just a straight strength check, right?
Yeah.
6.
Yeah, he rolled a 2, so he was completely unprepared for this. So you are able to basically at least try to force it back in his direction. Now I'm going to ask you to do an attack roll to see if you actually hit him.
Yeah.
This one I'm going to say is at a disadvantage because you do have your back towards him and you're kind of just randomly stabbing it backwards at him.
Am I just adding like unarmed strike to this?
Yes, unarmed strike, please.
That's an 11.
That's with the disadvantage, correct?
Oh, I was at disadvantage? Sorry.
Yeah, just because you're basically randomly kind of stabbing backwards.
No, that's a 6 then.
So you disarm him, you get it, and you basically try to shove it backwards almost over your shoulder, just like randomly attacking in his direction. He is able to step back away from that. And he goes, "Oh, very clever, boy. Very clever. You're still not getting out of that cage anytime soon, but I have to say I am very impressed. Very impressed."
Tommy just is kind of just like holding it out in front of him, like daring him to try to step closer again. Just like,
so at that point, you can basically see the brand itself. Do you recognize what the brand is? First of all,
I was trying to think. I wasn't there for the original Goblin. I wasn't there just now for Rusty.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I was involved in the conversation. I think I heard Claude back during the rat fight. I think I saw it
That's
there.
what I was saying. I think it's the rat fight. I think it's the one where the rat itself had it on his arm. Because there was the 3 fake rats.
Yeah.
And then there was the actual rat. And it was on the rat as well that you saw it.
And I'm trying to remember out of character. That Mark is the competing people to the Claude family, right?
Yeah, so you were introduced to this idea of the Seven Sons as being a opposition group to the Marcels. So as far as Claude was concerned, the Seven Sons were in opposition to the Marcel mercantile group. And from what Claude had told you is that they were involved in nefarious means such as stealing and vandalism and basically destruction of property.
Okay.
So Claude gave you the impression that they didn't do business the right way as far as he was aware of them to be. So yeah.
Okay. Then yeah, I mean, I recognize what he was trying to brand onto me, but I'm holding it, just a caged animal. I have the weapon now, but it's not like I can do anything because I'm still caged. So I'm just kind of like branding it and just keeping it like in front of me.
Keep away, sort of thing. Yeah, exactly. And as you're basically swinging away, you can already kind of see the glow of the heat. Sort of, it's not white hot. It's becoming sort of, a bit blue, a bit orange, a bit red. So it's starting to be like almost like kind of like a red glow to it. Mm-hmm. You can just see the captain go, okay, have it your way. have it your way. We won't decorate you today. We'll just have to say you're a new vintage of a product. Let's put it that way. Untarnished. What do you say, lad? And the other guy going, yeah, boss. Sounds good. Sounds good. Untarnished, yeah. What does untarnished mean? Forget about it. Yeah. He goes, well, we just have to soon your transport will be here. You'll get to join the boys again very, very soon. But let's say Daggerford's going to be worse for wear when they come back, and you're not going to enjoy your working conditions going forward. And makes his way up the stairs. If you want to say anything to him on the way out.
Nah, Tommy just stares him down, trying to look as tough as he can as a person stuck in a cage that has no control.
Yeah, there's one last look he gives you. There's a little bit of pride in the way they look. You can tell it's kind of it's made sense for him. That's like he just didn't just take us. He didn't take it lying down. You know,
that makes Tommy recognizes it too. Like it after like all the years of kind of like the proud dad look of it pisses Tommy off even more. Like he's like now his hands, like he's holding it, but now his hands are shaking.
Yeah. The last dig that the captain says on the way past, he looks you dead in the eye, goes, "Oh, sleep tight. Hope you like your cozy quarters." And he goes up the stairs.
Okay.
You see the latch go down.
I would like to the branding thing. If the bars are tight close enough, I would like to try to bend it. I would like to, or I probably can't snap it because it's too. But I would like to bend it.
Yeah.
Bend. I start like banging it on shit. I want to try and bend it. I want to break the hell out of it.
Very good. What you're noticing is that the heat that is still on the brand. These are very, very old bars. So you do see actually a little bit of bend, a little bit of movement when you're combining both the heat of that with the cantilever type force that you're putting onto it.
Is the other guy that heated it up still down here?
They both went up together.
Tommy would like to, if he's noticing any bending or any burning, I want to relocalize it onto the lock if I can, or any bars holding the lock.
Like, okay, go for it. I'm going to give you a strength check with advantage because you've still got a lot of that heat on it, and there's not a lot of time has passed. It's still really, really hot, and these are very, very old bars, and you've started to notice that they are making a little bit of a dent on it.
So just a straight strength check again?
Yeah, but with advantage because of the heat of the brand.
All right. A 14.
Very good. It is definitely moving. It's not going to break the lock, but the gap between the bars is at least growing. In that, you might need to work on it for a little bit more, but you do see that it is weaker, and it's giving you at least a little bit of hope on that. So. It's still not a huge distance in the bars, so you're not necessarily like sideways squeezing your way through just yet.
Okay. But
it's definitely a lot more progress than you thought you would have had on before you just were randomly striking at it. So yeah.
Okay. That Tommy's doing a type of thing where he's like finesse working, and then he'll give like 2 or 3 bangs to make them upstairs thinking that he's still like angry and that hasn't just. It's one of those things where you can't just be like super like banging out of control and then all of a sudden just go quiet, or someone's gonna get maybe suspicious you're up to something. So he's trying. I'm trying to keep up a facade in between my moments of like trying to work it.
When you do that, you hear a little bit of a chuckle from somebody at the other side of the hatch going, "Keep trying, buddy."
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's definitely working out for you in that sense. Okay. Cool. Back to the tavern. Bo, you've noticed Beauregard in there.
What's up, Ray, buddy? How you doing?
Anybody else want, before Bo and Bo have a conversation, Does anybody
So
else want to do
Discord
anything
wasn't
different?
working. We're using WhatsApp, so that's why we have a different
How
look
long
today.
do I need to rest for it to count as a long rest?
8 hours.
A short rest won't give me any slots back, right?
No.
Nope.
Are we gonna be here for 8 hours? I don't know. I was thinking I would just like go, since I don't have to sleep, I could just meditate. I was thinking I could just go and find a dark corner and just meditate for 8 hours, but I don't
Maybe
know
we
if
could
we're
just
gonna
go
have time
talk
for that.
to Buzztag.
What's that?
Lippo?
So maybe we could just go talk to Nelson. I mean, if it is Claw's dad.
Ray, you can hear me still, right? Yeah.
I still
We're not gonna be here for 8 hours. Forget my idea.
I don't think we will be.
Logan, you can stay there for 8 hours all you want. You
Yeah.
are free to make that choice.
I'm tired, guys. I'm gonna take a nap.
I'm gonna have a nap.
No, I'm staying awake.
It's 12 o'clock. It's just turned noon. You up about maybe 3-4 hours ago. So yeah.
Have it listen.
Well, people aren't looking. Claude's going to use lay on hands and recover 10 HP. He's going to do it kind of quietly by himself in the corner.
No one look at me. I'm touching myself.
I was gonna say you're just quietly touching yourself in the corner. Okay.
In the corner, yeah.
I just don't want to ask for help, and I'm going to heal myself.
Yep. Okay, cool.
Anybody else want to do anything?
What's up, halfway? How you been?
I'm good.
Going over there to talk to Bo and try to get help.
Yeah. I think
So we have a little bit of a different setup today. Discord wasn't working, so we're using
Are
WhatsApp.
you
So
okay?
things look a little different, but we're
You
still
seem like you're having a little
still
bit of
playing
a
some D&D.
It's a lot to
existential
process.
crisis.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, and nothing is what it was when I left.
Honestly, everything is still speculation.
Cutting up a tree.
It's not.
Yeah.
I think we're just erring on the side of caution with how they put Tom away.
I'm gonna focus back in on the game,
We
but
should.
great to see
Sorry.
everybody here. Thanks for hanging out, lurking.
Alright.
Rian or Viator? Anything in particular you guys want to do? Viator?
I'm good.
Okay, cool. Logan, anything for yourself?
I'm just gonna meditate for a bit anyway. I'm
Yeah,
just gonna
just-
go sit down and meditate.
Just a wee mini meditate. Okay, yeah, that's fine.
I'm
Okay.
still rattled from falling, so I'm gonna have a seat, take a little break.
Cool. Bo, you're up.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna approach Beauregard at his table. I don't think I'm gonna be like too. I'm not gonna be like public and loud with it. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
approach quietly and have a seat across from him.
He's just staring into his glass.
Oh, do you
Yeah,
remember me?
all the bubbles that wasn't his ale. You could tell they probably disappeared a while ago. Still got about third of his glass in front of him.
Yeah.
He's just not moving. He doesn't even acknowledge you when you sit down. You know, he still has the odd random person come by and like, you know, kind of slap him on the shoulder, slap him on the back, you know, like kind of try to cheer him up, and just very inexpressive signs of condolence for him.
Mm-hmm. Bo, do you remember me? Hello?
He looks up and you just see these deep, sullen eyes, you know, red with strain and bloodshot, and and just the tension of holding back tears from his eyes. And he just looks at you and just puts the head back down into the glass.
What happened? Is there like how are you here? I mean, you guys kidnapped one of the I forget what they were called.
Yeah, the council members. Yeah, that's fine.
The council member. What are you doing out in public like this?
He's just at that point, just any restraint that was in him just completely collapsing. We didn't mean it to happen. We just didn't mean for any of this to happen.
What happened? Like what
We didn't. Your buddy Tommy was there, and he made some good points, and we were going to. It just happened so fast, and oh my god! Oh,
Where's True Storm? Is everything okay? Is he okay?
dead. He's dead. Okay.
Did you guys kill him?
It was just for show. No, they didn't kill him. We were about to let him go, and we are just trying to negotiate because the stubborn bastard never listens to anything, and we were going to let him go, and then all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, something hit the stage really hard, and it fell, and three of my crew are dead, and then True Storm, he got him as well. It just happened so quickly, and
What do you mean he got him? Did he die in the the fall or what?
no, it's something like it's it's just this dagger right to the chest, and then what was even sicker about it was that someone the same individual cut off his finger, looked at it like it was like collecting like something, just disgusting. Okay,
Who was it? What did he look like?
describe it. He was
Did he almost look like a patchwork man?
I, I no one believed me. Like, how'd you know? Like he had a face that didn't look like his own face.
It was the same guy that attacked the same night you kidnapped True Storm. He was a part of I believe he's a part of the group that has taken our friend.
I think you better get ready to say your goodbyes because anything I've seen so far follows that thing. Everywhere it goes.
You seem to be really shaken up by this. I thought you were much stronger.
My friends died.
Yeah.
Callous bastard. I just wanted to be able to provide for them. And
You're right.
we weren't getting anywhere. You selfish son of a bitch.
I am selfish. You're not wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't by your friend though.
Just leave me alone, okay?
Bo, I could really use your help.
Oh, now you could use my help.
I mean, I could have. I needed your help before we started this. Whenever I saw you, but I think now you can help me and get a little bit of revenge.
Hearing the word revenge is probably the thing that kind of allows him to catch a breath at that time. And he goes, "Go on."
Well, the man that killed your three friends, he right now he's incapacitated, but he's a part of a bigger scheme. I would think he's a part of a group that is attached to the Howling group that owns the Howling Boar. They took our friend in there at the Marcel's house, and we were hoping to get your help in creating a distraction outside of the house.
So, no recollection on his face to anything to do with the Howling Boar. Doesn't mean anything to him, as far as you can tell. The fact that you've named anybody else in this, Marcel, he's jumped straight onto this. Because are they responsible for this? Is it them? I'll rip every single one of their heads off. Like, there's no composure. Like, you've given him a thread and he's just jumped onto it. There's no. I will burn that house to the ground if they were involved in this.
There's Bo's gonna try to calm him down. Like, Bo, no, we don't know if the Marcels were involved, or if but the group is at the Marcel house. So I don't know if they're trying to stage a coup, take over. I mean, Niall was the one that killed True Storm, and he killed the other council member, and maybe
Brunswick. Brunswick. Yeah.
So maybe they're targeting the Marcels, but we know that's where our friends at. And Niall was a part of the group that took him.
Which friend is it?
The one that talked to you it sounds like he was at the protest today.
It was Tommy?
Yeah, it's our friend Tommy.
He's a good man. He was the one that stopped me from doing something I thought I would have regretted at the time. I was just so desperate. I just needed to be heard. But then I couldn't do anything about it before I could disband everybody. Just a thing just swept through and just killed my friends. And yeah, I got True Storm as well, but
well, what do you say we rally the rest of the miners and meet outside
I'm not getting them involved in anything else. I already brought too much pain upon them. You've got me, and you've got me alone. It's my responsibility to do something about this.
You're really taking this to heart and really putting on the weight on your shoulders. I thought you were a group. I thought it was.
You know what? Well, last time I got them into a group, you saw what happened.
I mean, you seem like you did a pretty good job at, executing the plan of kidnapping True Storm.
He hears the word executing, and he just completely falls apart. Just absolutely collapses into his drink. He's bawling his eyes out onto the table, wailing at the end, and he's completely lost at the moment. Every so often he flirts between rage and bawling his eyes out.
Well, I don't think this is your fight anymore. I think you need to take a beat, buddy, and realize that this wasn't your fault. This was somebody else's. I appreciate you offering your support, but I don't think. I was hoping for 100%. I don't know. I don't know if you're in the mindset to help us right now, but
just give me a bit of time, okay? Just give me a bit of time.
Yeah, take your time.
8 hours.
Yeah.
By the way,
when he looks over to your group, he recognizes Claude, trying to be inconspicuous in the corner.
Put a hood
and
up.
He just says, I swear, if the Marcels are involved in this, I will destroy everything related to them.
Sounds like you have just reason.
Yeah.
And hopefully, right now, I don't know what to tell you, but I'll be back to see what we can do to make this right.
It just basically is a shell of a
Yeah.
dwarf at the moment. Like, he's just completely exhausted. You can see all the effort that he's putting in just to contain his emotions, and then it just exploded in basically every different possible emotional direction in a short period of time. And he just looks like a shell at the moment.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna pat him on the back, and I'll see you soon, Bo. Condolences, friends.
See you around, Bo. See you around.
So yeah, I'm gonna make my way back to the group, and whenever I get to the group, I'm guessing everybody's kind of like congregated together in the corner.
Yep.
Yeah. So Bo is not in a state of mind. It's not like now murdered True Storm today before we got Tommy, or before we saw Tommy. Sounded like he also killed a few of the union worker or the miners, and right now Bo doesn't seem like we can really look to him for help. I don't know what the plan is now then.
Might just have to do this ourselves.
Oh, it looks devastated. Standing up. It's like it's really, really gotten to him. Yeah,
I'm trying to let the dog out, but also, yeah, looking broody here.
that's it. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. That's some damn good role play you got there.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. I don't know what's happening.
I'm so confused.
Maybe we can be the distraction, and one of us can go in and find Tommy. What about?
If he's in there, I think we can suspect he's being kept where we kept Niall. It's the only place we can lock somebody in.
Yeah, I mean, do you think? Well, so I can make one of us go. I have the ability to make somebody invisible for a little while and find
Question.
Tommy.
Was Niall in the pantry or was he in the basement?
He was in the pantry.
In the pantry.
Okay.
Yeah. None of you know about the basement. Even the idea that they had to move the boxes and the barrels just to get that latch onto it. Claude doesn't even know about this. Claude might have known because he was sitting in the area when he was staring at Niall, but Niall was basically tied against the post in the pantry.
Mm-hmm.
So
Logan, do you think you could maybe track him down if we went in there?
Who has the best stealth? Probably me, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can also make you invisible for the duration of it.
I'm not
Probably.
all that great at hand to hand. We could be close quarters in there. I'm
Well,
better at range, but
Maybe we just need to
hopefully
locate him.
things don't get. Yeah, hopefully there's not a fight.
I can make the illusion of a sound and like draw people off the front door.
Well, why can't we approach as if going to talk to Claude's dad and just to get in
That
there?
could get us in the door.
Don't those pirates know us? We were engaged with them too, trying to fight them for winking.
Yeah, but
sorry, I love that description. Fight them for winking.
It sounds so childish now.
Yeah.
So now it sounds childish.
The reason you kicked off the fight was like try to eat Tobin Fine. Call everybody an asshole? Fine. Winked at me, son of a bitch. Yeah.
Teach
All
you
my
to
ideas
sort.
are
Kissy face was that's right. Kissy face was the
Yeah.
absolute clinker as well.
all my ideas are figured out with Bo and
Yeah.
the miners, and so
It's fine. As basically you're sitting there, and you know who's in the bar, who's looking out the window, who's watching down the street.
oh,
Ready?
I'm probably
Ian's
trying to
just looking
watch
out the window.
Rain's looking out the window. Okay. Rain, out of the front door of the Marcels, you see Rickard walk out. And Rickard looks quite agitated. And you can just see he's almost just pacing in front of the building a little bit. So you can almost just see he's out, almost like just trying to catch his breath.
There's a Marcel that's just exited the house. And I look back at everybody else.
Yeah, I'm probably
Well,
watching
what
the
do
front
you
door.
want to do?
Can you go
Well,
out
that's-
to him now, Claude? Can we trust you? Can two of you go out there now to talk to him?
What's our cover story here?
While
You're
you
his
figure that
friend.
out, we're going to go back to Tommy for a second. Tommy, did you know at the bars every so often making a big noise? Yep. Every so often when you make a big noise, after a while there was the laughing earlier on, but you can hear some kind of groans from upstairs, and eventually the guy at the top of the latch just stamps and goes, "Keep it down there! Keep it down! Shut up! My guy, give me a headache." All right. Okay. So basically, he gives you he shouts that, and you're just bugging the life out with all the noise that you're making. What do you want to do?
Let's see. Okay. How heavy would you say the thing I'm using is, the poker?
For the American audience, a couple of pounds.
Perfect.
It's not particularly heavy. It's mainly just it's more it's like an iron like poker.
Mm-hmm.
So you wouldn't struggle with the weight of it.
Okay. Tommy's gonna cast Mage Hand, and I'm gonna take the poker back over to the fire. And it only lasts for a minute,
Yep.
so like I'm probably after all the banging, it's probably cooled down. I'm probably not getting the melting as much as I wanted to.
Yeah,
I would have used Mage Hand to one more time take it over and heat it back up for, we'll say, 45 seconds, enough to get it hot and bring it back to me, and then the Mage Hand disperses, and Tommy's back to more precision, trying to melt and increase the spaces, not doing the banging anymore because of the guy upstairs telling him to stop. So now Tommy's very precisely trying to escape this.
Very good. So basically, with the real proper saturation of heat on this is glowing white hot. The end of this mage, end of this brand, and it goes round there, and within the time limit, goes round, holds it round, brings it back round. You've got now a super hot end of the brand, and you're able to target it pretty much right at the key lock in one of the bars that's beside it, and you can see like it's almost starting to melt into, it's almost starting to really bend and really misshapen and deform this to the part that it does click open, and it swings open for you.
Excellent.
So that real injection of heat right on these very, very old bars and this old mechanism is enough to get it to click open. So it swings. I'm gonna make you do a dexterity check, because otherwise this door is going to go when it swings open.
So just straight dex or sleight of hand or
straight dex. Dex saving. Dex saving.
Oh fuck. Dex saving. Okay. 7.
Okay. it definitely starts to make a bit of a swing, and you can grab at it. Okay, and you, with a lot of tension, look up towards the latch, and you do hear a little bit of movement. Dum, 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 dum. Nothing. No further. So that's just enough to sort of catch it on the way open. So it did make a little bit of a sound, but as far as you're concerned, nothing else has happened yet.
Okay.
Okay.
So I've
you're basically you're basically in an area that almost looks like an underground tunnel. Okay. To your right, it's where the furnace and the stairs are, and there's a lot of darkness that way. And over to your left, you can see a little bit of sunlight.
I want to investigate towards the sunlight to see if it's a window, if it's another path leading out of here, anything like that.
Yeah. Give me a stealth check, because you're basically trying to quickly do that without making, because this is a big echoey hollow tunnel.
21.
Oh, perfect. Right. As you're basically going around, very, very light-footed, you're missing any sort of puddles and any sort of loose stones that you might have actually kicked along the way, and you're making your way towards it. As you're making your way towards it, you can feel more and more wind on your face. And basically you see almost what looks like it's the end of this tunnel is basically going straight out onto the water. So it's like it's pointing out towards the port. It's not at the port, but it's a different walled area that goes straight out into the water. Okay. So imagine like like The Fugitive.
I don't know the reference.
Trying to get
So
basically it's just an opening for this tunnel.
okay, so I'm looking down a tunnel and I see daylight at the end.
Yes, you see daylight at the end. It's basically looking out over the water.
Okay, so even though we went underground, the tunnel goes out to an outside source that I can see. How far is like the tunnel roughly?
You're probably only looking at maybe like 150 yards down that way, because you
Okay.
really get the feeling that whatever was in these cages went that way.
Okay.
Because like there's scratches in the wall. People things trying to resist and stuff out there, and you can see almost like a makeshift dock.
Okay.
That transport.
All right, so I'm still holding the poker because that's my only weapon. I just want to I want to head down that path, but I want to just do a quick investigation to see if I see any other weapons or anything to protect myself down here.
Yeah.
Oop, shit.
You're not going to find anything, because
Okay.
as you can imagine, most people in these situations, they're captive. They're not here. They're against their will. So yes, you're not going to find a lot of personal belongings here.
Okay, no problem. Then with my poker, I start jogging down the tunnel.
Fantastic. And basically, you make your way to the end of this tunnel. So imagine like kind of shabby brickwork on this. It's a little bit haphazard. It doesn't look like a fully, let's call it like a super intentional opening for a tunnel. Like a little bit makeshift, and you can just see like a makeshift dock in front of you, and you can look out to the left, and basically in front of you, like quite a distance away, you can see the port docks, so where a lot of those ships are. Okay. A large distance out to the right hand side, you can see the Howling Boar is out there, but it has turned sideways. So it's parallel to the port. It's not moving away from the port. It's parallel to the port.
Okay.
So, and basically you can just see a lot of those. Imagine you're like at like a dock, and you've got those like wooden stakes coming up in the ground. Like wooden posts sticking up out of the water.
Yeah.
That's basically the only thing you can really see as like something you can step out onto.
Okay. So kind of essentially, just so I can get this in my head, the main boat's kind of out in the main water. Someone could use a little rowboat to get down into this tunnel area to get the prisoners out and in.
To get
Okay.
to get to the opening of this tunnel, correct? Yes.
Okay. And so either I got to swim or I kind of need to hop post to get further out enough to maybe go off to the side, like either one way or the direction.
Yeah. Which you can, because you're at this area, you can kind of hear a little bit of hustle and bustle of the street sort of areas kind of above you. You get the feeling that if you went along those posts, hopping along those posts, you'd basically come up to a part of the wall that you can maybe try to climb up or get up onto what would be sort of the street area.
Okay. Tommy, also, just so I don't forget, I did grab my jacket out of the thing before I left. Tommy has his jacket back on. I'm thinking I'm going to, because I don't know who's out here. I don't know if there's more guards.
Yeah.
I don't know anything like that. Tommy's is gonna stealth into the water. Like he's gonna put himself into the water and very slowly try to swim whatever direction that I can see a spot that I can pull myself out. I'm too worried about doing the hopping that I'm gonna splash into the water, get recaptured, and brought right back where I was. So Tommy's trying to be as quiet as possible.
Yeah, it's as if somebody suspected that there might be some agility-based checks on that. So that's a very, very don't worry. I'm not accusing you of metagame. That's a very, very clever way to do it, by the way.
No, I think that's the fastest way. Tommy sees it as the fastest way. Hop, 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 hop.
Cool.
But with Tommy's luck, he's afraid of splashing into the water. And if I'm gonna end up probably in the water anyway, I might as well just swim.
Yeah. No, good. It's good. It's a high margin of error going that way. You're absolutely right. It's faster, but it's riskier. Okay. Yeah. So basically, you're gonna so you basically kind of almost scooting over the edge of this tunnel, like almost kind of sitting down, putting your legs down, turning around, and kind of almost lowering yourself into the water.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Cool. That's fine. And basically, you get into it, and then you can kind of just let yourself go because your feet are reaching. Your feet is reaching the water, so you can kind of let yourself go and just slide down the wall, go into the water. So no big splash, no nothing like that, just into the water. Yeah.
Yep.
You've got the poker. Is the poker in your hand? Is it in your mouth? Like this?
Yeah, so that I can use both my hands and arms for swimming. I'll put the end that I was holding, or closer to the end. I don't want any of the hot part touching my mouth. So if it's cooled down enough, I'll put it right in the middle. But if it's still kind of hot at the end, then I'll put it in my mouth closer to where my hand was holding.
Okay. Cool. That's fine. Okay. So as you're swimming away, we're going to go back to the tavern for a moment. Okay. Rian, as you're sitting in the bar, heavily distracted. Okay. All of a sudden, a drink appears beside you. It's slid along the table to you. And you just hear, "Hey, kid. Now you've been doing a lot here, but I came here with Rusty, and I didn't want to let you go through this on your own." Jarvis himself appears beside you in the bar. I think we've lost Logan for the moment. And yeah, so you just look up and you see this face that you probably didn't expect to see for a very, very long time. And as he explains to you that I lost track of Rusty, but I've checked on him. He's doing okay. I just needed to come and see that you were doing okay.
Rian's just overwhelmed and can't make words for a second, and then she just starts crying and leans over to hug him.
And you notice this as well, and picks up on that as well, leans into it, and you now in this very vulnerable position that you've been in, because you're generally kind of relatively. I think I gotta let Happy back in if I do that ring for him. I think
ring.
So as you're leaning in, you're in this very vulnerable position. It's not a position that Rain normally is in. Very strong, independent, kind of keeping arm distance. There's always been a mutual care, but it's never been a particularly close, sort of physical hugging type relationship. That'd be correct. Yeah, it's more mentor and respect and things like that there, okay? So this in particular, this type of behavior catches him off guard as well, because I don't think he's pretty much ever experienced this from you. And she really shows what you've been through at that moment in time. As you can see from his neckline here, basically he's wearing garments that are, obviously this is his original picture, but garments that are very, very similar to what Rusty is wearing. So you can tell basically he got a new clothing at Magville Swamp. And he's basically there, and you can see when you look up from that position, you look up onto the chin, you actually see the little bit of a corner just at the top of the neck where so the neck meets the clavicle. There's a little bit of a brand there. It's clavicle.
Does it look new?
No. You've just never you've never seen him in garments like this, these sort of loose fitting garments, you know, as you can see in that original picture, is normally quite tight clothing, very well kept clothing. And as I said, you generally have that sort of that relationship. Is that like not, you wouldn't necessarily have that sort of physical close relationship that you'd be seeing this part of his body normally, if that sort of makes sense. And you can basically see this little bit of a brand on his clavicle.
Rian's gonna try to hide her sniffling and like rub her nose and just kind of a little bit jokingly look back at him and just, why are you dressed like that?
Yeah, yes, it's it's not my usual style, but you know, I thought I'd let the fine folks in Magville look after us. Thank you for coming to save us from Shellburg at that time. I had to stay for a little while to make sure my family were okay, but they are because of you, Rain, and they understood why I had to come to make sure that you were okay. So when I heard that Rusty was making this journey, I thought, you know what, 2 birds, 1 stone. Rusty had a lead on this, and I had a chance to come and see you.
Given their more familiar relationship, does Rian pick up on any strange emotion in his voice? Like maybe he might be hiding something.
He might be hiding something. You can let's do a perception check, because you're trying to perceive something different about him.
A 4.
That scratching's not made, by the way. So, yeah, a 4. No, you're kind of caught off guard just with him being here. Like, yeah, you're almost just too happy that he's here to really think and really be able to kind of pick up on what's different about this.
She maybe registers the little bit of the mark on his skin, but not.
Yeah, you've seen that. Yeah, but you haven't really.
It's not connecting anything, and there's just too much going on to really process what it means.
Yeah. But he's just taking an opportunity. Like, you can see a little bit of hesitation, putting an arm just around your shoulder, but just because of he knows who you are and what you're generally like. But this is a very unusual situation for you, so he's basically just taking an opportunity to put an arm around your shoulder and kind of just hold you and just be there for you.
Yeah. Still kind of sniffing. Rian just mentions we've seen Rusty, and we're trying to help another friend. Would you be able to help us?
Yeah. I'm going to take a guess. It's the friend that got sick in the hut, right? Because he's the only one here I don't see. Um, you can tell. You can tell he's trying. You can tell. Yeah, you can see he's trying to kind of make you laugh, intentionally bringing this up. So because yeah, but Rian, if he's your friend, he's my friend. That's as simple as that. I know a little bit about this city. I know a little bit of how to get out of this city. And if anything, he looks over towards Tell and he goes, and I'm not the only one who knows how to get out of this city.
Brian still doesn't really pick up on that, but just kind of touches his shoulder and is just like, I appreciate you.
Yeah. Tell, when you're sitting there, you basically notice Jarvis and Rian talking, and then a very definite look in your direction from Jarvis that you don't quite know what that look is about, but it's very much a look at you. Okay.
Okay.
So you can tell you probably do get the feeling that they're talking about you, but you don't quite know if it's just the situation in general or if it's explicitly about you. Okay.
Yeah. Is it possible for me to walk over there? Is that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. I would like to walk over there and say hi.
So basically, Jarvis sees you coming along, and basically he's got Rain under one arm, and he basically reaches his other hand out to you, like his left hand. You can tell it's not his dominant hand, almost like trying to like shake your hand.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "I guess you're Tell."
I am.
Rusty speaks very highly of you.
Rusty's a good cat.
Yeah, yes, he is. And he told me that you have gotten out of this city before, I believe.
I may have. I know a little bit about it.
Yep. So obviously you didn't get the same artwork that I did, and he shows you his clavicle and the brand. As you can see, both Rusty and I are sporting this very fashionable memory.
Mm-hmm.
You were able to get out before being decorated.
I did, yes. I didn't want that.
Yeah, I understand. It's not about it's not like you left me behind. I was well before your time. This is quite a while ago that this has been on me. Rusty, a little bit longer as well, but I think maybe just before your time. The stories about somebody getting out. They did keep a lot of people going, that they might experience the similar fortune, but alas, not many were able to get out the way you were.
Yes. Out of character, like metagame stuff, do I notice any difference in him?
You don't know him as well as Rian would, so like you can tell that he's kind of probing you for information,
right?
But he also doesn't quite know what way to go, because you can tell it's a little bit Chinese whispers for him. You know, he's talking about stuff that Rusty told him about, that Rusty sort of picked up about you, with your shared history with the chain bruises at the neck and the wrist and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But that ultimately you escaped that life before it got worse. Unlike, you can see the very worn face of Jarvis, that is a hard-lived life, a life that was taken from you by force until he was able to make his own escape.
Okay.
Ryan's like super surprised taking all of this in.
Yeah.
Just Jarvis, what are you talking about? Do you know? Do you know Tell?
I don't know Tell personally, but Rusty told me about an individual, seemingly the only individual who was able to escape the life before it became servitude. Servitude, what am I talking about? It was slave labor. None of this. Like, they kept using these words around us and indentured employees and all this. It was slave labor. There is like we don't know what it's about. We just know that somebody was making a lot of money from people who were working against their will. And as you can imagine, there's brokers in situations like that, and a lot of people made a lot of money off the back and the blood of a lot of unfortunate souls out there. And that was a different part of my life, and I've been able to get out and stay out, and Rusty was able to get out, and as it turns out, this is the Tell who got out, or should I say Viator, depending on whichever name he wants to go by these days. By the way, I've taken down quite a few of the posters that I've seen along the way because, we don't need any more attention as we can. So I don't think they're going to arrest me for littering at this stage. So
Ryan can't really deal with other people's emotions or comfort people, so she just like puts her hand on his and squeezes a little bit.
All of this expression of emotion is still like Jarvis is taking it in stride because this is not what he's used to seeing with yourself. He's used to the stone front of that there, but knowing that the troubles are normally under the surface. And he looks down at Ray and he goes, Rain, it was taken from my home. I know that your home was attacked as well. I know there were other Dragonborn taken as well. You were one of the lucky ones that didn't have to go through this. But there were other Dragonborn that there were. I don't know how you got away, but it's one of my missions in life was to see you grow, knowing that you didn't have to suffer that life that I went through. And I tried to keep you away from this, and Rian being Rian finds a way to go head first into it. And I guarantee that, they say curiosity kills the cat, but I'm going to take a wild guess that curiosity got the best of you quite a few times. Just always had to touch stuff and always had to pick up something and couldn't leave well enough alone, no matter what I did to keep you safe.
Ryan slaps the table and stands up halfway. Lucky. Yeah. I lost everything and it was my fault. I know everything is my fault.
And he stands up at that point, and this is one of the only times you've ever heard Jarvis raise his voice. And he slams again. Yes, you are lucky. Look at this. And he shows you the brand at that moment in time because he wasn't sure that you sort of picked up on it. He goes, look at this. Do you know what this means? Yes.
Rian is going to pull aside her own collar, be like, do you know what this means? And show off her brand.
Yeah.
Which I forgot what it looks like, but
yeah, it's okay.
It's not the same, just for everybody's reference.
Yeah, it's not the same.
I thought it was.
Yeah. and at that moment, what your brand does look like to him, it looks like uh, it's not quite exactly a perfect image of anything, but it is more like a scar, a burn, and if you were doing some sort of an ink blot test look on it, you'd see almost the combination of tentacles and a shell shape on that. Just on the sort of the clavicle, it's a mixture of things, but you'd have to almost kind of squint your eyes to see it. It kind of looks like a mixture of sort of tentacles and a mixture of almost like a shell of some sort on that. And compared to other brands, especially on your skin, it has more of a bluish tone to it, especially with your skin compared to theirs, which almost has like a burnt white sort of swollen look to it. So it definitely doesn't look like like the same way that they would have received a brand. Yours looked like something like touched you and caused this, but nothing as symmetrical or as perfect of a shape as you'd be expecting.
Rian keeps yelling, like, I betrayed my own people and they died for it.
Dave, I know you think that, but do you not actually remember what happened that day? Like, you were young, you had nothing to do with it. You talk about meeting somebody, but you never explained what that was about. But that ship came for your people, and it bombarded your village with cannon fire, and they came in and they took people like cattle. So this was never your fault. I tried to save you from that because you weren't ready to process it, but I have to tell you now, you never told me about the individual, and that's fine. That's yours to bear. You're a victim, and your family is a victim in the same way that countless other villages and tribes have just had individuals scooped up and shoved into cages and sold like property. Have you noticed that any of these ones, they're not humans? They're not humans. They're every other species, including Dragonborn. That's that. Gods forbid that I wasn't born a human, and therefore I'm lesser somehow. This was never your fault, kid.
Rian doesn't want to let that go.
I know.
That's what's been driving her, is the fault and the guilt. So she can't process any of what Jarvis is saying right now and starts to walk away to another corner to sit down alone.
Yeah, and Jarvis has seen probably this part of Rian enough times to know not to follow and not to push. So he's just going to take a seat as well. He just knows you need a bit of time. Because it is a lot, and he would have. You can see almost a bit of a sigh of like, I wish I'd been able to do this under different circumstances. Yeah. And as you make your way there, Tell, you and Jarvis are still sitting at the table. Is anybody looking out the window at the moment?
Claude is watching the house.
Okay. Right. You're watching the house. Anyone else looking out the window? Okay. Tommy, at that moment, basically you find yourself coming up to a wall, and you are able to pull yourself up against this brickwork, and you throw the poker. So anybody who had been looking at the window would have seen this poker land up onto the side of the building. And eventually this, once again, in this situation, before we let it go for today, once again, a completely drenched Tommy pulls himself onto a shoreline, ready to meet his party, or at least try to find them, as far as he's concerned.
Grab a drink at the tavern, just like last time.
And Tommy gets up, and he's skulking around, and he sees the foolish captain, and he makes his way in through the door, and the party can just look up as they hear the squelching, wet footprints of, again, Tommy walking into another tavern, completely soaked. Tommy, anything to say before we let go for today?
Clyde's just looking back and forth. He's like looking at the manor, and he's looking at Tommy. And he's looking at the manor.
Tommy whips open. That's how he pushes open the door. Pushes open the door, and he wasn't necessarily expecting to see the group here. He was just trying to get into a building to get cover from just escaping what was his cage situation.
Yeah.
So he opens the door, and Tommy being Tommy goes, "After all I've been through, and you guys are drinking without me," and just like leaves it like that.
Beautiful. Great. Lovely. Okay, I think that calls it for that. And there's a bunch of roller coasters happening all at the same time. So, yeah.
I will be right back.
The dominoes are falling.
The great escape.